Hi everyone. I hope you guys are having a nice conference so far. Um, so happy Teams Day online. Let's move on to the next slide. Um, today, you are in Remote Workers Cloud Security session with me, Prabhat Nigam. This is about myself. Three times MVP, blogger, speaker, author, father, husband, and Angelino. I'm a global CTO for Golden 5 Consulting and CEO for LAEXUG Foundation. Golden 5 Consulting is my consulting company where we provide Microsoft consulting and Microsoft licensing to our customers as a gold partner. With the LAEXUG Foundation, I run my user group in Los Angeles and also run Global Azure Boot Camp in Los Angeles. And here are my contacts and the websites. All right, today's my session is sponsored by my company, which is a gold partner, which is Microsoft Gold Partner, which is a direct CSP, supplier, and authorized education partner. We are located in US, Canada, India. Our website is golden5consulting.com, and if you need to book an appointment, just add /meet, and you will get an appointment page. Also, don't forget to follow us and tweet and tag us. All right, the biggest problem of today is COVID. So I just wanted to put forward the number where we are. We have this link tagged in our website. So if you forget this website, then you can always remember our website, and you will find the link, and you can always check the latest number for COVID. All right. We just had a hit from Microsoft. Just wanted to sum up what happened on September 28th. So it's an awareness what will happen. So I would say Microsoft got COVID for 3 hours, right? Kind of a sick thing. So everything went down, and then finally the release. There was something they did, and that caused it. And right now everything's back. It took over 3 hours. That was my concern, that it's more than 3 hours, and that everyone was down, every link was down. So what will happen? Like, there were a couple of issues. That's what I sense, or I felt. We had a URL down, so no URL was reachable, and then authentication was down. So both things went down together. It could be linked that because the authentication went down, URLs are not reachable, because everything is on SSL and authenticated in Microsoft Word. So Microsoft is going to release the report in 5 days. I didn't get time to check from last 24 hours if they have released. But before that, I checked. There was no report generated. So we'll wait for the report to know what happened. So what was the impact? The impact is the challenging. That's why we're discussing today. It impacted Microsoft worldwide. Many hospitals were down who moved 100% to Microsoft. I've worked with some hospitals where they wanted to move completely to Microsoft. No on-prem presence, even the hybrid server. They don't want hybrid server. So our suggestion was that to keep the hybrid server at least for Exchange attributes, right? So, but they were down, and many police officers were down, many secret agencies were down from this issue. I mean, of course, their phone systems were working because they did not migrate that to Microsoft Teams. Oh, I also heard Adobe was down, and any other company which is completely hosted in Azure was down. So that's a huge impact. This has never happened ever. We have seen different outages, but not this big. Now, what are the concerns? We are definitely thinking, how can this happen? This is major. How can everything go down, like a firewall or some gateway of Microsoft was turned off or something, right? So second thought is like the principle of life we have learned with Microsoft, along with Microsoft, that okay, anything we're going to deploy, we have to have it tested in our lab, and then only we go for the production. So the next question comes: didn't Microsoft test anything? If they're saying they deployed a code and that caused the issue, so that reasoning was definitely not matching to the principles which we have been following in the IT world. Then what surprised me more, that Microsoft and Insider had no idea that Microsoft services were down until I reported to Microsoft CEO and some of the other higher managements tweeted about it. Then then they realized after 2 minutes of it, they tweet as well that okay, they have an outage. Um, Meanwhile, I was also chatting with my friends in WhatsApp in Microsoft. They work in Microsoft Seattle, and they're like, "No, what's wrong?" I'm like, "Look outside the window, guys." So then they got to know. Um, but I'm definitely surprised why there's no statement from the CEO. I was expecting Satya will say something of such a big of an outage where everything was down. I think he's still collecting everything, and probably we'll see something coming out. All right, the suggestions, or you can say learnings from this incident, is the bigger thing. So um, that's what we need to understand, that where we are, where we're going, and what will happen in the future. What if it happens again in the future? What are we gonna do? So the most important thing is we should think of adding an emergency recovery site. Configure an emergency recovery site. If something happens, switch your DNS, boom, you are directed to the emergency recovery site, and your emergency services will be active. You're a hospital, you can start receiving your emergency emails. You may have two email IDs, one with emergency 1, one second with emergency 2. Same way, you can have some maybe like if you're using Teams a lot, maybe you want to set up with Zoom, or you want to set up with Cisco WebEx, that as an alternate service for the meetings. So you can also switch to that emergency recovery services. Um, Other option is always that you can always keep a hybrid configuration. So some configurations you have, or some or most of the mailboxes you migrate to Microsoft cloud or any other cloud. It's a open suggestion. It's not a Microsoft only. It is for any cloud. You move to Google, you move to Amazon, you move to another third party. You should think that what if all the services is down? I'm completely down. So what can I do better? So that's why I'm suggesting some ER recovery sites, which can be our partner like CGI Solutions, or we can also configure your hybrid mode, so you keep like at least one mailbox from every department in on premises, keep running them, or maybe a shared mailbox, you want to keep running them in on premises from every department, that in case of emergency, send an email to this group and they will receive it. And obviously you have to switch your Amex card towards that server, and that will make it happen. Also think about the alternate services. Maybe if you have migrated all the phone, then you have to always publish your alternate numbers, maybe your cell phones, or if you can afford another phone or a desk phone, that could be another service. So this is major. Planning is big, required. Definitely this is a little off topic, but definitely wanted to pick up this concern so that we have a better environment and for future, because it is quite related to remote working. Remote working is a cloud working. All right, moving on to the agenda. Today we're going to talk about what is remote working, why remote working, what is cloud security, why cloud security, cloud security options, cloud security best practice, remote worker cloud security, and samples. So let's move on. So what is remote working? There is a simple definition. Remote working is connecting services remotely. That's it. Um, think about it. Connecting services from another network is remote working. Connecting services for using VPN is remote working. Connecting to a cloud service is remote working. Connecting from home, coffee shop, beach, a friend's house is remote working. Working from another office is remote working. Working from office when servers are in data center is remote working. Technically, you are not in the same site. So there is a internet, there is a VPN which is connecting you. So you are not technically physically there to connect. So if you have internet or your external link is down, you are down. That's the whole point. Um, while remote working is also while traveling, you're on the train, plane, driving. All police officers are driving and their laptops are still working, the phones are still working, they're connecting. So that's also a remote working scenario. Um, Working on emergency outages and the change requests. Of course, many of us work 24 by 7, and they work on emergency outages. They work on change requests. Those are remote working. Moving on, why remote working? We can't work on the server, so remote working. Or you can say can't be on the same office. We can be in the same office. We cannot be in the same office, so we have to remote work. Servers are located in different data center, and we work in the corporate office, so that's remote working. Servers are in the cloud, like Azure, AWS, Google, so remote working. No servers. We are serverless. We are using everything as an application. So we are basically on cloud. That's remote work. That's why we have to do remote working. There's nothing else we can do. We have a family unwell, or I'm unwell. I cannot come to office, but I'm such a critical resource. I need to work. So that's why remote working. 24 by 7 support outage. So there are teams which work 24 by 7. They are on site, they're working, or some of them are only working 9 to 5, and after hours it's on call support. So 24 by 7, we have to support the environment. We have an outage, so that's why we have to work remotely. All right, any other emergencies could have come. You may have some repair, you may have some requirement to stay home, so you have to work remotely. Now, not the last, not the least, but COVID-19 lockdown is pushing or has pushed everyone to work remotely. See, the good part is environment has a lot of nature benefits has come. So many places the air is no more polluted. So that's one of the benefit I see. But still, we're talking about remote working. So we still have to think about remote working security. So what is cloud security? Um, Understanding your responsibilities between you and the provider. That's the easiest definition of telling you what is cloud security. If you know the responsibility, then you have to implement the responsibility, and that's the cloud security. Identify the importance of your identity, which is the one of the most important thing. It's you may be the smallest, you may be the level 1 employee in the company, but still your identity has the equal importance as the CEO of the company, because you because from your identity it might leak some data. So for the company, your identity is equal to any other employee's identity. identify the Identify the value of your data. You may think, oh, this is just one number, which is even a credit card. What is the use of it? It's not so valuable, but it is valuable for the company. Someone's name, someone's email address, someone's mobile number. It is valuable for maybe others. Someone don't want to share their phone number to someone who doesn't match with his values. So those are personal data. You may think that every data is valuable. Data protection is always required. So you should have data protection enabled. You should have an encryption enabled while using the data, while data is in motion, and while data is resting. So examples are, while data is resting is BitLocker. Enable BitLocker while it is resting. So it is encrypted. The disk is encrypted. So that's the platform is encrypted. And while using, if you use any data, you can encrypt with Azure Information Protection. And while data is in motion, so you should use SSL so that when the data is moving, it is always protected. Then scanning for vulnerabilities at the container level, at the application level. So container level, I can say the servers, for example, and when you deploy an application, that can be application level. So definitely we should have a cloud security it means that if we continue to scan all these vulnerabilities at the container and application level. The best part is we are in the cloud, so if we find a vulnerability open, we have two choices: delete that container level, delete that application level, or and deploy a new one, or fix it. So we have choices. Depends on the vulnerability. We may take a call that, okay, let's format it or build a new one. Securing the identity and the network. That's another cloud security. Securing personal data, securing company data, preventing ransomware attacks, preventing malware attacks. Now moving on, why cloud security? This is the most important thing. Why do we need the cloud security? Okay, we want to secure it. There are ways to secure it, but why? Because we have cloud hosted personal data, or cloud hosted corporate data, or maybe cloud hosted financial data. We have internal and external threats, so we have to provide security. We have to protect users from cyber threats like phishing attacks or spam attacks. Maybe ransomware and hackers' existence are pushing us to have the cloud security. If they wouldn't have exist, who needed that security, right? Why do you need to add an extra security when we can live free? That's kind of a thing. So if you have someone who is deprotecting, who is attacking you, so that's why you need protection. That's why you need security. We do mistakes by unknowingly you just forwarded the email to someone and you didn't see what all chain email had. Maybe your CEO's phone number, maybe the CEO's personal cell number, which was part of another conversation between him and with the higher management. So when you forward, you have to watch it. But again, at the same time, if we have right policies implemented, they might see that, okay, I should not share one credit card or SSN or something which is there in the email, which maybe this user didn't realize. His job was to forward to the right team, and team had a group, and group had one external user. So that's human awareness or mistake. We live in an unequal world. Definitely, somebody has more things available. Somebody has more money, so that's why they like to get more things, come to the same level. Everyone wants to drive Ferrari. Why not? So that's we live in the unequal world. That's another reason why we need cloud security. We also have a currency. So if we don't have a currency, then the ransomware will come and attack, and they will say, okay, what? Send me a copy of your movies, or send me a some what they will ask for. They will ask for money. There's no money, right? So send me what? Send me my home. Send me my car. Send what they will ask to send, right? So because the currency exists, they asked, okay, we need $1 million to release this data. And last not but not the least, desire to do more. So if you have desire to do more, you're never satisfied. You want to keep on doing better, 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 and uh, you may leak the data, or you may start working towards hacking and ransomware, and you choose the wrong ideas. All right, so that's why cloud security is required. Cloud security options. So what are the options available for the cloud security in the Microsoft world? Multi-factor authentication, self-service password reset, privileged identity management, privileged access management, Azure information protection, double key encryption, data loss prevention, Windows Defender, Secure Score, Intune, conditional access, Office 365 ATP, Defender ATP, Azure ATP, Cloud App Security, Windows Virtual Desktop. All right, moving on, I'm going to tell you what are the best practices for cloud security. Build secure design. So anything you want to build, from the beginning, plan for security. You cannot just say that I'm going to plan for security after I build it. No, that means that you have to redesign everything. So you build with the security. Anything you design your product, anything you want to put it in the cloud, so build from the beginning. Security has to be there. To design it, and then you build it. Then you encrypt the data all the time. So make sure that your build is always encrypted. You count the resource requirement to encrypt the data all the time. Then you block a backdoor, block Microsoft backdoor access. So always think that you may have some patent data, so you may want to block Microsoft access from the backdoor for some data, may not be everything, but if you have such data, if you think there could be some proprietary data which you are keeping in the cloud, Microsoft has an option, so you can block that, and that way you can also protect your data. All right. Add multi-factor authentication. Of course, second factor authentication is so important. If you have it, your data is secure, your identity is secure. Add self-service password reset. This is very, very critical for everyone. Whenever you are adding self-service password reset, the end user don't have to call anyone to reset their password. That's biggest benefit. So if you are in the practice of resetting a password from anyone else, then your password is not new to you. Password is already second-handed. It has come from someone who can always use your ID with the password. So self-service password reset should be there with every company, regardless of they're using Microsoft Cloud or any other cloud. If you don't have self-service password reset, then you are always open for vulnerabilities. And of course, this feature reduces 50% call of the help desks. 50%. And it increases more when people come back from holidays, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year. So give the importance to self-service password reset equally as any other security feature you'll give. And implement no admin approach. So if you have heard about privileged identity management, that helps you configuring no admin. There will be no admin, absolutely. In that case, you have to log into privileged identity management, add yourself as an admin, and then you will log in. So benefit of is that if someone has my authentication by any means, I'm not an admin. What are you going to do? You can only check my email. You can around with my data, but not impacting company data. So no admin approach is helping a lot. And mostly, if there's a virus which is trying to use your ID, it cannot do much harm except to myself, because I'm no more admin. So any admin task which it could have tried, it would break. So automation will not work with my ID in that case. So no admin approach. Then limit the time to access and the resources to using privileged access management. So definitely, if you don't need to be accessing some data or some resources, then it's time, you're out, and whenever you need, you take it back. Then limit the network access. If you don't have any employee in different countries, you may want to restrict those countries from accessing your network. If you and inform your employees if they are traveling to such countries, they have to let you know they are not in the same country, and you can allow those countries. And of course, test the application before going to the production. One of the most important thing, test for security, test for vulnerability, any security threat you can think of. Add Windows Defender. Windows Defender ATP has a lot of improvement. Add that. Configure sensitive data policy so data loss can be prevented. Then fix and improve secure score. Microsoft provides a free secure score, which is an engine which generates a secure score based on your current configuration and policies. So if you have a great policy, your secure score will go high. If you have a loosened security policy, then it'll go low. The advantage of it is it also recommends you to fix what all you should fix. So all those recommendations you follow, you fix it, it improves your score. So you have a guide, a free guide available in your Office 365, which is going to help you in securing your environment. So use that. Use Intune and conditional access for mobile device management and mobile application management. Add Office 365 ATP, which is going to add your safe links and everything else. Okay. All right. Add Windows Defender ATP. Monitor security events. You can monitor security events using Sentinel. Use and not to forget, use Microsoft Virtual Desktop. Windows Virtual Desktop for unsecured location. So you may have some new employees coming for a few months, new employees joining without a company laptop, or some employees were working as a BYOD, bring your own device kind of a scenario. You don't want to give them the full access to your full access for your company data, company working culture. So better to give them a Windows Virtual Desktop. Configure Windows Virtual Desktop. Allow an open tunnel to your servers, or if your applications are only in Office 365, then this Windows Virtual Desktop connect to your Office 365, and they have a secure Windows Virtual Desktop which is tested, secure, and um, they don't share the local data. So that's a secure environment. And most important, this is from the beginning of the IT. We have been listening and we have been following backup data regularly. Moving on, remote workers cloud security. Now this is very crucial, how a remote worker works. What are the options available as a remote worker in the Microsoft cloud world? There are so many options Microsoft has provided in Office 365 tenant. Look at it. Multi-factor authentication, data loss prevention. But again, data loss prevention also comes in Teams. between exchanging the messages. For example, if I exchange a message with a customer and by mistake I had to send uh, a tax ID to my human resource, and but I just talked to a customer and mistakenly copy pasted there, that's gone. That's gone in the wrong hands. I don't want to give my tax ID to my customer, right? I trust my customer. However, I still don't want to give my tax ID to my customer. So, to prevent that, data loss prevention can stop you, saying that, oh, you cannot share, as per your policy, you cannot share this data with the external user, right? It will block that. But to make it happen, you need a E5 licenses under M365. But the feature is available. That's most important. Other than that, McAfee had given a demo during the Ignite for the same feature. All right, moving on is again self-service password reset is available, which can be used, which should be used. Sentinel to monitor the secure event is available, and it can also act on the security events. You have Azure Information Protection. We have double key encryption, conditional access to block location, conditional access to validate compliance, secure score to fine tune your security, Intune for compliance management, Intune for group policies, Intune for mobile device management, Intune for mobile app management, Office 365 Advanced Threat Protection, which also provides safe attachments, safe anti-phishing attacks, safe links, anti-malware. Then we also have Defender Advanced Threat Protection for Windows. Then we have Azure Advanced Threat Protection, which also secures your on-prem identities. Then we have privileged identity management, privileged access management, cloud app discovery, and cloud app security. This is huge. This is a huge package on the security. The simplest and easiest for anyone is use a Windows Virtual Desktop, which comes, so you configure this once and offer to use Windows Virtual Desktop and push the following under Windows Virtual Desktop. Or you can also push it for devices: BitLocker encryption, redirection to OneDrive. Don't let it save anything on locally, right? So you push it everything to OneDrive. So nothing is saved locally on the laptop, even if the laptop is lost. There's nothing. It's just a value of the laptop, but there's no data. Device management policy, Windows Defender, block local computer access, block USB drive access, block drives redirection, limit network access, and again, most important, backup your data. So if with all these, your remote workers' cloud security will be perfect. Moving on, I'm showing us some samples. This is cloud app security sample. I got two alerts that one of my consultant in Norway got activated. He had to do some work, so he logged in. When he's not working actively with Golden 5 network, he's not logging in. Same thing with another consultant in Australia. Someone logged in Australia. I got an alert that, oh, this activity from this country is infrequent. Of course, we have open those countries because we know we have the consultants there. Next is ATP scopes. This is gonna interest you more because it is showing three different type of ATPs. You see that Office ATP, so that's Office 365 ATP, which is scanning the URLs, scanning the attachments, and alerting us and telling us to do the giving the options to access, and also reporting some of the some of the things in the on the computer in the cloud app security. Next is Microsoft Defender. It is Defender is scanning your Windows laptop, Windows desktop, computer, or servers. Of course, it's also watching what are you browsing, and if you're running a program which can be causing any attack. Then Azure ATP, which is watching a brute force account, use a stolen account, or any kind of a identity attack. So altogether, ATP is protecting you end to end. Microsoft Defender Security Sample. This is how the Microsoft Defender looks like when you see the dashboard. They scan, in my organization, they scan 78 threats which may impact my organization. However, look at the dashboard. We have 0 out of 38 threats which may impact my organization. But this is all feeded, this is all built by Microsoft. WannaCry, Bad Rabbit, all those vulnerabilities. Next is Microsoft Endpoint Manager, which is showing again healthy. I can also see one device is missing compliance and two clients apps failed to install. That gives you a nice dashboard. But this is your Intune. This is a new Intune. You can configure all these policies and you can see the dashboard. Where are we? What all I have to fix? When you see them, you can click on them and you can go and fix it. Moving on, just wanted to explain this, and then moving on to our offers. What Golden 5 is offering today. So Golden 5 Consulting is offering 10% discount on all of their Windows Virtual Desktop plans. We have 3 plans, and you get 10% discount if you send an email or contact us with discount code TeamsDay 2020. You see it in the bottom. Alright, next is Office 365 licenses discounts. So we are offering 10% discount for every attendee with the discount code TeamsDay 2020 for the following plan: all Microsoft 365 Enterprise plans, Office 365 Enterprise plans, all Microsoft Business plans. Then 15% discount on all Dynamics 365 plans, Power BI plans, and Microsoft Plan 3, Project Plan 3 and above. It's only available to the users in US. There is no offer for Microsoft Teams, audio conferencing, and calling plan. But other than that, this is still a good offer. Moving on, we also have our system admin tool. Our offer there is for 10 licenses, it is free. The 10 licenses are free today. 20 is there's a cost for 20, and there's a cost for 100 licenses. Again, email us with the code, and this is available. Questions? I'm looking into the questions. I don't see any question. We can come back to the questions at the end. If you have any more questions, please feel free to write. Your feedback is important to us, so definitely scan these and provide a feedback for the session and for the event. Alright, so we are hosting an event, online event, that is under my nonprofit LAEXUG Foundation. This is to say bye-bye to Exchange 2010. It's on the same day when Exchange 2010 support is ending, 13th of October 2020 at 11 a.m. PST. Here is the meeting invite, and you can also go to the event in the meetup link and add yourself. Alright, if you wish to connect more, there are multiple places you can connect. You can also watch our YouTube there. Alright, thank you for all these sponsors: Microsoft, Extranet, GSX, Excel 365, and thank you to you.